All right. Good morning. Good morning. Did that wake you up? Hello, Scott. Hello, Jay to the Aki and Nancy. Good to see you here. Oh my goodness. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you're with me. So if you are watching this at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, December the 18th, you are live with me. If it is any time after that, you are not live. So you're gonna have to tag me if you want me to respond because I'm not listening to you because it's a replay. So so Nancy, Scott said, hope you're feeling better, but it looks like you're not. So let's see, having another COVID test after this morning. Oh boy, oh my goodness. So Nancy, with your permission. And basically, you can accept or decline. With your permission, whoever feels comfortable wants to send you some beautiful high vibrations, feeling good, bring yourself into harmony alignment. We'll call that healing. Whatever it is that you need, desire, and accept at this moment to get yourself feeling better and listening to whatever those feelings are telling you this morning for guidance, for directions. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Yeah, I got a haircut last week, so usually after a week after I get my haircut, it looks really good. So anyway, good to see you all here. There's a couple of us here, and we got a little fun topic. Mitch, you scared? I scared you with the horn. Oh. So I'll be a little more subtle. I only have a few. That was kind of wah, wah, wah. Okay, Nancy says she accepts. Wonderful. So we send that to you. We send that to you. Allow it to go where it needs to for your highest good and greatest growth. That's what I say. That's what I say. So, all right. So let's dig in. What are we doing today? The numerological tarot groupings. Another way of saying this is like the constellations. And where I got that terminology was from this book, Who You Are in the Tarot by Mary K. Greer. It is an older book. Does anybody have this book? Has anybody read this book? Is anybody rapidly going to Amazon right now and placing it on order? Hey, Donna. Yay. Glad you're here. Glad you're listening. Your favorite thing. Yeah. Loud sound effects. Yeah. I do enjoy, well, I won't say loud sound effects, but I do enjoy it. Oh my God. My ad just went through the roof. Oh, so anyway, so yeah, so this is the book, and in here, Mary K. Greer talks about the constellations, the tarot constellations, and that's kind of what I didn't use her terminology because I'm kind of veering away from it just a little bit, how she kind of groups it together. Who's here? Clumsy! Hey, Clumsy! Hello, welcome, welcome. But yeah, so let's dive in. And so there'll be a little bit of numerology here, but more importantly, it's kind of about grouping the cards together, which I always try to. It's so funny. After 2 weeks ago, when I did a session here with you all, I remember like I took a nap afterwards just to kind of meditate and regroup for my clients. And I remember thinking, I don't think I did the practical thing. So I always like to say, why are we exploring? How can we put this into practical use when we do a reading? All right, so that's the biggest thing. So throughout today, I hope that I will say, how can you utilize this information practically? So all right, so let's dive in. This one won't be a long one at all. So we're going to look at, first of all, the number ones. So, hey, Tara Stash, good to see you. That's Gerald, right? If I remember correctly. Yes, I like her. My favorite book she did is the 21 Ways to Read the Tarot, because that's where I probably really started reading in layers, working with the different ways of reading it. So I definitely love it. So here are our ones, our magician, and I'm using the little mini Rider-Waite-Smith because I can get them all in the camera frame. So here are all of our ones. So the magician is a 1, the wheel is a 10, which boils back down to a 1, and then the sun is 19 or 1. So how many of you is your birth card, birth path, a 1, 10, or 19? And what you do is you take the day of the month, and the year, and add it all up. 21 ways to explore. Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. So a key thing that I got from one of Mary K. Greer's books was I always added up my numbers, and I added them up like straight across, like 3 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1, 9 plus 6 plus 6, and I got 30. So I thought, oh, I'm a 3. Well, when you add up 3 plus 14 plus 1966, then it boils down to, I think, 1984, which when I add that up, then it was a different number. When I add that up, it gave me 21. I thought, oh, I'm a world birth path, which then boils back down to a 3, and then the hangman is kind of like a little shadow or hidden aspect. So if you don't know yours, I would encourage you to add it up, especially once we're going to go through this. And if you want to post it, let me know what you are. Like I said, I'm a 21-3. So when we get to the Empress, we'll get to see a little bit more of that. So here are all the aces. And what I like to think and feel, and this goes along with a little bit of what Mary K. Greer teaches, but then also just from some other people that I've connected with and read. You can't add a master number either, or you're not supposed to. So if your number is 11, 22, or 33, it's considered a master number. And in numerology, I would agree with you, but in tarot, I would say there's not a 22 or 33, so you want to bring it back down if you want to play with the tarot within the realms of that. But yeah, absolutely, it is a master number. And that's a big deal. That is a big deal. And in a lot of numerologies, in numerology, the thought is that if you're a 22, a 33, or an 11, or even a 44 or 55, if that's your birth path number, and you get stressed, or you're tired, or you're caught off guard, you often drop out of the master number down into the secondary one. So let's say you're a birth path 33 and your life is just all over the place, erratic. You're probably going to fall into the 6. And I remember reading that, and it really felt, I'm not a master number anywhere, but it really felt real, because it's like, here's your true identity of 33. But when you get stressed out, that's a lot. That's a lot. So it's like you fall back into the 6. It's kind of comfortable. It's kind of like a hidden aspect. Maybe, in astrology, it might be, I'm not an astrologer, but it might feel like you're falling back into your moon sign, kind of closing the doors, getting away from, being out there in front of people with your rising or your true nature. So in looking at this is what I just kind of wanted to go over today. So the magician is kind of the ultimate ruler of all of these, because it is the one. Even if you come in at like a 19, we're not necessarily talking about birth cards. We're just talking about the constellation of this. So this is like a constellation right here, according to what Mary K. Greer, or as I'm calling it, just a grouping. So the 1 kind of is like the ruler of all of this. The 1 rules the wheel and the sun, and then it also rules all the aces and all the 10s. So if you're doing a reading and you get like, the outcome is going to be the 10 of wands, you might, in your reading sense, you might sit there and say, okay, if you can do this quick, you might think, so if the magician has sent this 10 of wands out for this final placement in the spread, why did the magician send this 10 of wands? What might the magician have to say about this? And if you got, say, the final outcome is the wheel, then you might also say, okay, I've got the wheel, it's movement, it's expansion. What might the magician, who kind of rules over it, say about this? So it just kind of gives you, again, like a little bit more of a layer. Okay, Donna, that's how you found out you're the Chariot, but also the Tower. So if it all boils down to 7, then the Tower may be kind of like a little bit of like that hidden or shadow, however you want to kind of look at it. But if all your numbers boil to 16, then that's like the birth card with, the secondary Chariot. So yes, and number 3 especially, they are perfectionists by nature. So picture by the time 10, yikes. Yeah. Chariot both ways. You add, okay, cool, Scott. Yeah, and sometimes it works. It depends on, when you're born. I mean, it really does what the numbers are. So this is kind of what I wanted to look at. So if we look at this as like the magician is kind of the ruler of all of this, grouping here, then how does, if the Ace of Sword pops up in, recent past, that may be, I just recently cut things off with some people. Well, what influence might the magician have on that Ace of Swords? Well, the magician, in my mind, often has all the tools they need. They're the alchemists. They can create whatever it is they want. So maybe you stepped into that fullness and you picked up the sword, because the magician has the sword up there. So this could be an element of the magician coming to step into that placing of that card. Especially if you just do like no question, no spread, just random, lay down, hey, what's my day? And I pull 3 cards. Then you really can pull back to that. Donna, I'm not going to say this is what I feel for you, but if someone were the Tower card or I would think, what? My life may be about coming in and just shaking shit up. And you may be that your personality could be, total like, ADHD all over the place. You could be the rebel. For me, rebel energy is definitely kind of like Tower. You could come in just to shake things up. You could be the one in your family. You could be the, I don't like saying black sheep anymore. I like saying, rainbow sheep or whatever. But you could be the one in your family that just came in to rock the boat. You could be, again, don't know if it's you or not. You could be the illegitimate child of your father, and your father brings you into the family, and it just totally disrupts everything. And that could be part of who you are. And so Jackie as the hermit, you literally could be one who's just gonna really, really, you came into, find a real grounding, true purpose of who you are. It's Virgo energy, so you might be very critical. You might be able to work by yourself, crunch numbers and things like that, where, that would just, I love numbers, but to be working by myself, no. I'm like I said, I'm World and Empress, so I love, bringing things to an end, but the Empress is also about beginnings, and we'll get to that. So there is kind of the one. So I'm going to close all this down. And we'll pull out, I'm dropping cards. Which one fell out? Oh, the 10 of Wands. It was a heavy load. So let's pull out the 2s. The cards don't want to clump together easily. So this is Empress, and early on there's going to be 3 for each of them. So High Priestess, Justice, and if I make a mistake on the numbers, somebody call me out, please, because I did it, but it's the old deck and it's Roman numerals. So again, the High Priestess feels like they are really the ruler over all of this, and I want you to start thinking about like are there any images that are interesting here? So I find it interesting that the High Priestess, the Justice, and the Judgment, they're all looking right at me. But then these other cards, blinded, looking away, looking down, looking at each other. So nobody's looking at me. So that's really interesting. So what was the great idea? I like to begin readings by finding out the person's number in this manner. I also watch for that number throughout the reading as an influence. That's great. Oh, yeah, it is really good, especially when people know. So if the High Priestess is ruling over all of this stuff and you get final outcome of, 2 of Wands, then why did the High Priestess send the 2 of Wands there? To trust your gut and your intuition. I love that this person is holding a globe. Maybe it's crystal ball. It's not. But, maybe they're looking at it. Where do I go next? Trust your gut, trust your intuition. Where do I go next? What might justice, where it might bring you balance, or where it might free you from the stuff that's been holding you back. So again, another grouping or constellation, all the number 2s. And I'm going to move through them quickly. If you want me to slow down, let me know. Because that's kind of what I wanted to just work through today, was just the different groupings and what you might see, what you might feel with them. And this is the last one that has groupings of 3 major arcanas. So Empress, Hangman, and the World card. So like I said, for me, I'm the World, a 21, but also the Empress. And then interesting thing here, once again, this one, looking straight on, kind of looking to the side, focused on the cups. There's no people here. They're all focused on the work, focused on what's out there. So not a lot looking directly at us. Rebel, me, Donna. So is that a yes or a no? So Clumsy, you should have 2 or 3 personal tarot cards. Yes. So your astrological sign could be Aries. So in tarot, that's the Emperor. And then your numerology life number would be 9 for Hermit. Beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, so here's another constellation or grouping of kind of cards, kind of energies here. And, what does the High Priestess say about all these other cards? Excuse me, I keep doing that. I keep getting the High Priestess, Empress back and forth. There's a real mix there today for me. So 2s are what definition that you would think of? Sorry, slow this morning. It's okay, Scott. So for me, 2s are, harmony, unity, cooperation. It's the feminine energy and principle, within the realms of the actual cards, decisions, choices, partnerships, that kind of a thing. And then with the 3 energy, it's creative expression, optimism, imagination, it's playfulness. So you can see a lot of that coming in here with the numerology of it. But again, more so looking at like who is kind of the head honcho here, which would be the Empress, and just kind of the way I'm discussing it today. And you guys, again, I love saying this. This is Let's Explore. So I love when you guys say something different to what is, happening here. Oh, okay. So Donna, you don't exude the, what? And maybe rebel's not the word. Maybe there's another word for it. Another word might be a shit stir. So maybe you're more compliant and just go along with everything. It's funny, I'm not a tower at all, but I don't consider myself a rebel. I follow rules, but because of who I am and my family, the gay kid, moved away from home, I'm literally like the one who, I'm not following the mold. So there could be a little bit to that. So Tara says, as World Empress, you know what people need to be successful before they know it, and you're quite good at delivering it. I imagine you're a great boss. I am a really good boss because, I know what it feels like to be them. And I've always felt as a boss, I actually work for the people I manage. They don't work for me. It literally is like, I work for them. I want to make sure everything is cohesive, coherent, in place, ready to go for them. It's just one of those where it's like, yeah, I want everything to be the best I can be for them. So, okay, Donna, independent thinker, that could be some tower energy. But, again, that's one aspect, one influence of who you are. You're welcome, Scott. So any other questions about the 3s before we move on to the 4s? And again, like I said, just bringing these to the forefront of our mind, thinking about what these rulers have over. So now we're moving where there's only kind of 2 major arcana. So the Emperor, and I love this one, thinking about, the 4s here. So the number 4, building formation, it's very static, it's very stable. It can be very serious. Hey, Toadstool. If the Emperor is in charge of all of these things, I like this thinking because this almost feels like the young Emperor. This feels like the Emperor, passed on, taking a break. Some people look at this as like the tombstone. This definitely feels like another aspect of the Emperor. He's got a crown on. And again, this could be the Emperor of the castle. the Death card, this could be, the Emperor in disguise, having to tell people, go out, battle, war, which brings about, death and destruction. So, hey, Robin. I'm assuming Robin is Toadstool. I'm getting the names down. So any ideas about the Emperor? And let's see if I can get that a little bit better focus there. It seems to be out of focus. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, there it clicks a little bit better. So yeah, so looking at the Emperor as kind of the head honcho, the one in charge here, if your outcome is the Four of Coins, what might the Emperor be saying? I know what's coming. I'm in charge of the kingdom. It actually might be a good time to hold on to your money, to put your feet on it. And again, I always think of the Emperor as being a good parent as well as a good leader with the 4 energy, which is feminine and it's practical. Versus it is Aries energy. If I remember correctly, yes, Emperor's Aries. We had this discussion this morning. Hey, Kristen, welcome. Yeah, leader energy. So, all right, let's move on to some 5 energies where things get a little wild and fun. So we've got the Hierophant, the Pope. In Chiro's deck, it's the Faith card sometimes. So very interesting energy. And once again, looking straight on with Temperance, but looking down, all fixated on something else, looking forward, looking past or in the, backwards. So, all these cards are, this change, this transition, a little frustration, feeling downtrodden, maybe took everybody's swords and I won, I win. Hey, Kristen, not sure where to go next. This could be because this Emperor energy. And then for me, Temperance is about, balance and moderation. And it feels like all these cards are being echoed to maybe think about the balance and moderation just a little bit. So what other thoughts do you have about the Hierophant kind of being the leader or the head honcho of the 5s? So, all right, 4 of Cups, you turn to throw the 4 of Cups. Your turn to throw the party. 4 of Swords, let me think on it. 4, I don't want to spend the money. 4 of Coins yet. 4 of Wands, oh, all right. I love it. Emperor is also ruled by Mars, which controls 1 temper and physical athletics. Yep, nice. Add the number 4 is the death number in Chinese belief. Yep. I talked about that on Michelle Welch's of Sotopia's Instagram, because death card was my card I got to talk about. So yeah, the number 4 in I believe it's Chinese or Japanese. Chinese language is the same. It's the same word. It sounds the same as death. And number 8 is like, victory, wonderful. 13 in the Chinese language is like easy fortune comes to you. So it's kind of interesting where 13 in our language is kind of, a lot of people think unlucky, but 13 in their language is very lucky, easy money. But 4 is the same as death. Yeah, very interesting. So, Kristen, always confused about Hierophant and the other 5s. 5 to me is about conflict or growth through strife. And, this is where I would say, how can you bring those together if the Hierophant rules these? For me, when I think of the Hierophant from the beginning, I thought of organized religion. And that was absolutely these cards here. Strife. It brought me so much sadness, so much frustration. Felt like I was outside the church, kicked out. Felt like I finally had to take my tools and toys and leave. As a gay man, the church just wasn't accepting. So, and then the Temperance, when I first started learning tarot, Temperance was for so many years the hardest card for me to get. And one day someone said, it's like bringing the right brain and left brain together, finding that balance and moderation between the fire and the water. So Kristen, I would say, really look into it. And it could be, anytime I think as a teacher of tarot, I tell people if a card really gives you a hard time, it could be what you're working on right at that moment. So explore it a little bit more. Scott, I'm actually not sure, but Mitch just confirmed us. Okay. Scott, would you see that 5 as challenges or conflict like Kristen said? I would. And the number 5 is change, is transition. It's freedom, versatile, it's promotion, just it's this shifting. It's a tipping point, and before you go off down the other side. Clumsy, Hierophant for 5 is interesting because 5 is often change and conflict, and the Hierophant represents almost like the teacher. Yes, and teacher was a hard one for me to wrap my head around for the Hierophant, but in the last year, enough people like you, Clumsy, have just been saying it to me where it keeps resonating. So when I'm reading, it's starting to feel like, okay, they are my teacher sometimes. They can be a teacher in my readings for people. Yes, yeah, they all could be seen as learning experience, I suppose. Absolutely, absolutely, Donna. All right, so let's move on to the 6s. And the number 6 can be balanced, nurturing, service-oriented, responsibility, duty, family focus. So lover and devil, which I feel like these all have so many like kind of similarities to them. It's like there's a big angel and then there's 2 below. Moving, 6 of Wands is moving forward. 6 of Swords is moving forward. The 6 of Cups is not necessarily moving forward. It's often kind of reflecting nostalgia, melancholy, looking to the past, which could beckon you to move forward. So, it's almost like these 2 masculine energies are moving forward. These 2 feminine energies, Cups and Coins, are holding you still, which could echo back to like the Lover and the Devil. Thank you, Gerald. So, Kristen, tradition can be an inability to change, which can cause strife. Yeah. And Kristen, my favorite story about tradition is this little girl at, the or Christmas party, whatever party, says to her mom, "Hey, Mom, why do you cut the ends of the ham off before you cook it?" And she says, "I don't know. Go ask your grandma," which was her mom. "Go ask your grandma. I learned it from her." So the little girl go ask her grandma, "Grandma, why do you cut the ends of the ham off before you cook it?" And grandma says, "Well, I don't know. I learned it from my mom. So go ask your great grandma." So the little girl gets to the great grandma and says, "Great grandma, why do you cut the ends of the ham off?" She goes, "Oh, honey." She said, "Back in the old days, we had this really small pan, so I had to cut the ends of the ham off for it to fit in so I could put it into the oven." So sometimes tradition really makes us suffer. It's always such a good one when I think of tradition. The only musical I've ever done twice was Fiddler on the Roof. So anytime you say tradition, I think of that. So say it again slower, please. Jackie Witch, my story? Yeah, so it's basically, the mom was cutting the ends of the ham off because her mother did it, and the grandmother did it because the pan was so dang small that the ham wouldn't fit in there, so they had to cut it off. Yeah, 6 is family and home, and your spiritual self. Absolutely. So what is 6 definition? Oh, okay. So I'm going to look at my cheat sheet. So balance, nurturing, service-oriented, responsibility and duty, family focus. It's marriage and divorce. It's domestic and work. I always think of for me, I honestly, when I think of 6, I think of almost the 6 of Coins. It almost always brings me back to, because there's usually the little balance here. There's service to others. It's a coin, so there's like a family here. So I always think of 6 of Coins whenever I think of the number 6. It's so funny. The worst thing here, because that's how it always has been. And I hope this isn't politically correct, but in business they call that, what are your sacred cows? What are you not willing to slaughter, get rid of, because it's a sacred cow? And like I said, that was something I learned years ago, and it may not be quite so politically correct, because I believe it's in the Indian culture that the cows are sacred, and in our culture, they're not. They're not. So that is the number 6s. So let's move into 7s. So, and the number 7, this is research, solitude, analyzing, technology, wisdom, metaphysical, mystical. All right, and this is Chariot and Tower. And again, I love how all the 7s looking at the swords, looking down at the people, looking down, looking away. And, this is looking, Chariot looking directly on, kind of looking at us. It's kind of hard to tell. They are kind of looking at us like, WTF. What just happened? But Chariot, ruler over the 7. So, how does this fit in to some of the things in your life? Who was it? What was it? Donna, if you are Tower, do you resonate more with the other cards, in tarot? And I do feel like sometimes I resonate more with the numerological side of things rather than where they fit into tarot, or more just with the astrological. Sometimes I do feel like because astrology and numerology I felt like has kind of been around a lot longer than tarot. Tarot, I don't feel it was meant to fit into it, but I felt like as it was designed, it got placed into some of the numerology and astrology stuff. And I know there's a whole rabbit hole to go down there. Yes, keep asking why. There's your Tower right there until you get the answer. And that's how, excuse me, that's how I work as a psychic and a medium. If I see an image and I say it and the person's like, well, I don't know about that, then I'm literally saying why. Why did you show me, why did the 7 of coins come up? Because it wants me to pay attention to what's growing. But why do I need to pay attention to what's growing? Because I need to act quickly right now. Why do I need to act quickly? Because there's some change coming. There's some big change coming. I might need to get out of the way. So it's just like I ask, and then I'm drawn to an area, and then I'm drawn to another area. And that's not like how I do it. Like I go to the 7 and the 16, but that's just when I ask, I'm being pushed and drawn to it. Number 7, one's true self and awakening. Beautiful. So any questions about the number 7s and their groupings here? And again, practicality. If like the 7 of Cups comes up as the final outcome, what might the Chariot, which is Cancer, which is water, say about the 7 of Cups? And 7 of Cups is Scorpio energy. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Scorpio energy. So what might Cancer say to Scorpio? Get over yourself and make a damn decision? Literally, that's what I would feel. Because I feel like Cancer is quick and fast and they're very protective. And I feel like Scorpio energy oftentimes is not wishy-washy, but the pendulum can swing far and wide. It's actually interesting if you ever look at your own personal birth chart, you see that there's so very much to your placement that's extremely unique just to you. Yeah. I imagine, because I'm not an astrologer, I imagine it's like a thumbprint or something. The possibilities are almost endless. Is there a business book about asking why 7 times when trying to grow your business? I don't know about that. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Is that one you're thinking of maybe? Nancy, I'm glad it's helpful. So let's see. So no, 8, 9, 10 are Pisces. That I definitely know. And the reason I know that is because I'm on the 8 of Cups. Me and Bart, and it's Pisces. At least in the books and the works that I do. And again, sometimes I don't know how different there are. I've not seen many that were different on the groupings like that. Because the last 3 cards, the 8, 9, 10s are the mutables, moving to the next one. Chariot moving forward, Tower getting a flat tire. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that, who said that? So Toadstool, is that Robin? Do I remember, is that Robin? So I love the imagery of what you just said, because that is like, in reading, what you just said will probably come up one day and I will probably remember it. Like Chariot is moving forward, Tower is getting a flat tire. That is so beautiful. All right, number 8's authority, power, finance, business, career, material wealth, organization. So here we have, and this was another interesting one as well when I was kind of looking over them. What do you immediately see in the Strength and the Star? What's the first thing you notice? And I'll give you a little hint, physically. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, Cancer, 5, 6, 7, Scorpio, 8, 9, 10, Pisces, in the work that I do, So immediately I see that both the, quote, female images are leaning down, looking down. That's very, very interesting. It's like they're very aware of what's going on right at the moment. And then again, looking away, looking down, blindfolded, nobody at all. So there's not a lot of like direct eye contact here. Yes, Gerald, leaning down. Yeah. So that's really interesting. So final, let's say the question is, the question in the spread is, what's your next step? Yes, clumsy, bright, and confident. Yeah, very much so. A lot of bright colors there. So if the question is, what's your next step? And you get like the 8 of coins or pentacles, what is your next step? You know, maybe get to work, but what does the strength card have to say about that? You might have to, the strength card might say, I know it's hard work. I know you're doing a lot. I know you're being asked a lot, but you've got the strength, keep going. You know, what's your next step? 8 of Cups. You know, go off on this little introspective journey. You know, what might the stars say about that? Maintain your hope while you're going off on that journey. You know, maintain your hope. They're both focused on what they're doing. Yeah, woman leaning down. Let's see, Gerald, Tarot Robin, you have a wonderful command of language. I appreciate that. Beautiful. So again, putting this into practical kind of usage. If the question is, you know, your near future and you get the 8 of Swords, what might the strength card have to say about the 8 of Swords, or what might the star, or what might the other 8s have to say about it? You know, because if you're here feeling trapped, the 8 of Wands says you got the ability to move, or you can work your way out of this, or take this time to be introspective. So not just what do the majors have to say about each one, but what do the other friends in the grouping? You know, if you're out on a Friday night and you're having some trouble feeling trapped in your thoughts, what do your friends have to say to you? What would your friends have to, the 8 of Wands would say, just get your ass up and move. The 8 of Coins would say, come on, I'm going to help you. Let's work through this. The 8 of Cups says, you know what? Why don't you go home, take a breather, break away. You know, the star person is like, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. The strength card will be like, listen, you need to tell them that Leo energy coming out. So looking at this as like a group of friends, you know, is kind of cool too. So yes with the star, it's a reassurance that everything will be well. You can bring a lion to water, but you can't make him drink. All the 8s at the bottom make me think someone is going around in circles. Yeah. And think of an 8 is that. An 8 is the loop. It's the infinite loop, which could be why it's like it builds power. It creates money because you're constantly just building. It's success, you know? I don't know. It's that lemniscate energy, the infinity sign. All right. And then finally is happening to me is one of my favorite ones, the 9s, you know, completions, endings, spiritual consciousness, global awareness, vision, tolerance, hermit, and moon. So love these. All right, so again, looking at number 9s. I'm a Leo, so I know. I love it. So Donna, you're a Leo and you got Tower energy? Do it. I can't. I'm doing it. I've had enough. I love it. Oh, I love it. All right. So again, you're out at a party. These are your friends. And you ask your friends a question. You say like, oh, I don't know what to do about my job. I hate it. And you're the 9 of Coins. I hate my job. But everybody's looking at you like, wait, what? You hate your job, but you have everything. It's a great job. You make good money. The 9 of Swords might say, don't stay in there. If you hate it, it's going to cause you to lose sleep. You know, the 9 of Wands would say, oh, I know what that feels like. You just feel like you're trapped. You just got to pick up your wand and get out of there. The 9 of Cups, which would be me. I'd be the 9 of Cups at this party, Pisces energy. I'd be like, listen, what you need to do is just manifest, look in a little deeper and figure out what's going on there and manifest what you want. The hermit might say, you know what, this is a real good time to do a little internal look and see how you can move yourself out of that. And the moon card might say, trust your gut. If you don't feel like you want to be there, get out. So clumsy, I'm a 9. Whoop, whoop, yes. Gerald, moon hermit. Oh, yay. We've got a lot of moon hermits here, number 9s. Donna, I'm a Cancer moon rising, so the fire is usually very well controlled. There you go. I gotcha. So clumsy, 9 is very much a standalone card, not always in a bad way. Yeah. And I feel like with that in mind, just intuitively, standalone, number 9, it's an ending. So, oftentimes not everybody wants to bring it to an end. You cross the finish line often by yourself. You retire by yourself. You might be the one to end the relationship. It takes 2, but you're the one that ends it. It's not usually, hey, let's both agree to go our separate ways. It's usually like one, bring it to. So there is a little standalone energy. So that resonates with me, you saying standalone energy. So final one, number 9. Any other thoughts, comments here? Again, what would the hermit say to you, if you're trying to make a decision over your job? So I've got a lot to drink. I've had too much to drink. I have a hangover. I took these pills and feel a lot better. So I'm assuming I've got a lot to drink. I've had too much to drink. I've got a hangover. I took these pills and I feel better. And I love that. I love that. Again, toadstool, Robin, right? Yeah, that's a beautiful way of looking at it. Beautiful way of looking at it. So, Robin, have you done acting or improv? Because the way you are saying that, when I teach improv and tarot techniques using improv, I feel like you're tapped into that kind of like in the moment, get out of your way, allow the energy to flow. Very, very kind of an improvised. Or do you read Lenormand as well? Because when I read Lenormand, it feels like how you just said that makes me feel like sometimes how I work with Lenormand. Yeah, very, very beautiful, Robin. Robin, I hope you read professionally. I hope you at least read a lot of people, because the way you do it is beautiful. A controlled burn, destroying something now in order to prevent a bigger catastrophe later. Maybe that's my Tower aspect. So, Gerald, as a moon hermit, I'm exceptionally good at compartmentalizing things, and that disperses your power. Yeah. Cool. So, all right. So any final comments there on the cards? And once again, a book I highly recommend. Who Are You in the Tarot? Mary K. Greer. Let me move that up a little bit so you can see her name. Mary K. Greer calls these more like the tarot constellations. Yay. But thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. I appreciate you being here. And who's going to say smash the button, smash the like button? Yeah, Robin, beautiful insights, very intuitive. No thanks, I only tap dance in my head. I do read Lenormand and read all my cards like Lenormand. Okay, gotcha. Like a sentence, yeah. Yeah, Lenormand, I'll never forget sitting in Ronna George's class in 2014 in Dallas, Texas, and she starts talking about Lenormand. I never heard about Lenormand before. And I raised my hand, I said, are you telling me this is a divination fortune-telling system? Everything she just kept saying kept blowing my mind. She's like, yes, honey. And we've become good friends over the year because I was just I was literally like this, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You are welcome, Gerald. Thank you. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks, Scott. Yes, smash the like button. I appreciate it. So, all right. So I'm going to be closing it down in about a minute. Any other comments? So thank you, Gerald. Thank you, Clumsy. Thank you, Jay, to the Aki, Scott. Nancy, you still here? Is Nancy still there? Did I miss you? Nancy, I hope you're feeling better. Robin, thank you. Thank you for your participation. And if you were a fly on the wall just watching, I'm glad you're here. Don't ever feel like you have to say anything. All right? And also, you can look in the notes below if you want to see about getting a reading or a video reading. I do a lot of tarot video readings, especially now since my virtuals are booked out about a month. Also, virtual tip jar, PayPal, Venmo, links below if you ever want to share. But one of the best ways to help any content creator out there is to like, to share, to support, just by bringing attention to them. Donna, thank you. Yay, Donna, I'm glad you learned a lot. I did too. This is why I love to Let's Explore, because you guys' comments and things help me explore as well. Can I just say, Chariot is you're on the move. Tower is you got a flat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was Robin, right? I got to remember that. Bye, Jackie. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'm not sure when my next one is scheduled. I've been doing about every 2 weeks, but the next 2 weekends are holidays, so it might be the new year before I see you on a Let's Explore again. All right. Namaste. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.